Hey, you're journeying today with Yapeh Malka. Okay. What y'all want? Y'all want to know what I got this week, right? More gray hairs, surely. But as I've been enduring life, and experiencing things that I guess I wouldn't want to experience or try to think of why I'm experiencing. But even in that, in all of that, I got, life is hard. Life is difficult. It's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be the next situation or next circumstance, the next heart desire, the next thing to wait for. And some things you can't stop yourself from wanting. You want to stop yourself from wanting it, but there's nothing that you can do. And I feel like I was talking about it, I guess it was being very difficult. I was considering because, in life you have your sureties, these things that you hold close to that confirms your being, your joy, your fix. If you understand what I'm saying, if it's one of those things, like if you're not, like, I'm not always affected by life. Like, the weather's not going to stop me from doing something I want to do. Being told no is one of those things, and I don't know, but understand what I'm trying to say from that. So, in that I was thinking, because I told you I'm into the scriptures. So I was thinking Apostle Paul had did all these great wonders. He had grew up in Torah. He had knew God, the true God, and how God desires to be worshiped and what God requires of his people. And he was zealous for that whole purpose. And then he has this understanding. He gets the same thing that happened to Jacob happens to Paul when he has the Damascus road experience. And he had shells on his eyes, and now he hears but he can't see. But so he goes through all this, he learns all this, he finds John the Baptist disciples, and he converts them to let them know that you should follow Yeshua. You understand what I'm saying? He does all these great miracles, and then he gets to this point in his life that he calls it a thorn, and then he wants to die. And I guess my whole question that I had, or debate in my mind about that whole situation, was what was it that caused, when he already knew the miracles of God? Remember, the children of Israel was tested all these times coming out of Egypt, and they had seen God's hand do all these wonders. Even they walked a way that ain't no way to go. He made a way for them when they split the sea. You understand what I'm saying? And then he feeds them, fish in the desert, and he does all these wonderful things, and they still question. They even heard his voice, and they see the cloud and the fire and everything, but they still continue to question if God is able to do something. But what if you have a heart to say, that God is able to do whatever he wants to do? Then what causes you to have these moments of difficulties? I was thinking about that because I started to consider about just the end of certain disciples' life, especially if they did great wonders in the name of the Lord. I feel like in order to do such a thing, you have to have a close relationship. You have to be known, as they say. If you was a lawyer in the courtroom, you will be known by this judge, and even, favored by the judge, but you will do what's right and what's good in the eyes of the judge, would make you always have that, that you will have that verdict that's, in your favor. So why, if you have this audience or you have this ability, do you get to go into this dark place that you want to die? Because that's what he wanted to do. And just think about the end of their life. That's what I was talking about, end of their life. They ended up having to be removed from people. But they still have more to share. So they send letters and they correct in a certain manner, but they're not physically enduring people. I would say Moses had 40 years to kind of be at peace with, the wife and whatever, before he went back with people. But it's like, why they weren't able to die, but they weren't able to be in motion. Like in my mind, I'm thinking maybe they have this heart for God to say, I love God, but then it's like, I don't really want to be by with people in their woes and their issues. I would rather just. And so now you're left to yourself to share. However, you are separated from their whole hard work. That's life. But you can find some contentment and continue on in that if it's just like versus manual labor. If you can track along. So that's so all of that is what shaped my thought to say that is going to continue to be hard. Solomon said, what is life? Miserable, wretched existence, and what is to do but to enjoy life and find balance. So in me looking for balance, I dialed back on something this week that I go strongly for, because maybe I'm tuckered out, or maybe the tree is oversaturated. Whatever the case may be, it's something I'm gonna do forever and something I'm gonna work towards no matter what. And I'm happy to be at that place, but I feel like it's more. It's more to go, because not only do I have to be at that place, but I also have to understand the process that my heart's desires are there, and some things you just can't get rid of. You can try, you can pray, you can do all these things, but think about it. Paul did all that praying, and the Lord told him, my grace is sufficient. He said he prayed 3 times earnestly to take his life. I wonder. Anyway, so that's not to discourage you. That's to encourage you to keep going, and not to be dismayed by the difficulties that life can face. Because as long as you're breathing, you can fight another day. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes the road are long, but you gotta still make progress towards progress. So I'm Yapeh. I'm finished editing the play part that I was talking about. Now I gotta sit with the director and finish the whole thing up. So yay, that's done. And I have progressed in my long-term thing that I'm still not ready to share with you guys yet, but I've been working on that this week, and I'm close to getting back to. I've done a couple of other things, videos I just haven't done, and tried to learn some stuff, to do some stuff. So, all right, that is it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.